1, 2, 3, 4.
In this podcast, you will hear Knights of Vader. Knights of Vader includes, but is not limited to, talk of Star Wars, not Reagan's. We can't truly prepare you for the jump that follows this song, but hey, we gave it a try. So here's the Knights of Vader. Crystal Fox reports they are divided. Prequel, sequel, canon, love they fight. I know that we are just musicians hired, and their time is up. So here's the Knights of Vader.
Impressive. Most impressive.
I'd like to thank the Intergalactic Superiority Complex for providing our theme song. It is January 14th, 2022, and we are going to be talking chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, volume 1.
Woo!
2022. I'm Zenger.
And you know, it's a chapter instead of an episode because it's a book, everyone. Like, never forget that's the only reason.
Oh, so you guys are watching a book on TV?
Yeah.
You know what's always been my problem with books? You can't click them. Are you telling me this is a book you can click these days? That's really cool.
Robert, I really appreciate you working on your Type 5 for the Comedy Store.
Absolutely. So as you guys have gathered, we have Rob from Cinemoddities here with us today, who has not seen the episode, but I think he'll give us a refreshing take on what we talk about when we sort of go through the overview of the episode. And we have Joe Yazzo. How you doing tonight, Joe?
Doing good. How are you?
Hanging out, sort of licking my wounds, as Zack would say, from this chapter 3 of the Book of Boba Fett. And he's not here probably because
I've got to say some stuff.
Uh-oh.
I have to make some corrections. I was not on last week's episode. Also, don't ever ask my opinion after I have been in the process of sleeping for over an hour, because you will get that exact text message. But on that note, few things to remedy. One, Matt Berry actually plays the droid. God dang it. 8D8. He voices.
Do you mean the 88 that I have floating beside me?
Yes, I can see that. That is beautiful.
I put that there for your benefit, Zenger.
I was wondering why Chris very prominently had one Star Wars figure on display.
Yes, Matt Berry voices that character, not the Trandoshan. So that was a mistake by me earlier. Another thing, I would like to correct a statement made in last week's episode. They're not Siamese twins, you bunch of lunatics.
I think they're intended to be, but that doesn't make sense because they're different colors.
No, I don't think they're just creepily laying together all the time.
I guess, but there's one of the arms you just never see, so I don't know.
Are we
because
talking
it's
about
behind? It's sitting behind. You know what? I will scrub during this episode and find where you can see the other arm.
Are we talking about like Anakin and Padme? We're talking about episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, right?
Rob, you wouldn't believe. So like this
Zenger's face is on, Zenger's hand is on his face right now.
This is a good wake up call for us longtime Star Wars fans. Like, Rob, what we're talking about, it's like in the end of Blade Runner when Rutger Hauer's like saying to Harrison Ford, I've seen things that you just wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. The part of Blade Runner that everybody says is the best, which was ad-libbed, and goddamn Ridley Scott didn't even want in the movie, which makes it a bad movie. Everybody tune in to Cinemoddities. Zach and I hate Blade Runner.
It's both. It's simultaneously true that it's funny that was ad-libbed, but it can still be the best part of the movie. So
yes. I would actually say it is the best part of the movie. It's the only time anybody in the movie gives a real performance. I know we're not here to talk about Blade Runner, the robot movie, which I want to say as well. I don't know if I can say on this.
We'll find out.
Well, you just did.
We'll find out.
The reason I brought that up was because, Rob, this twins we're talking about two Jabba the Hutts that are different colors mushed together on a what do you call that? Like it's like a platform that's carried.
We're talking huts. I didn't know we were talking huts.
We're talking huts that are being carried around by like 20 dudes on a platform.
We're talking chicken hutlet parmesans right here. Chicken hutlet parmesan.
We're talking 100% an extended relative of chicken hutlet.
That's a throwback from over 3 years ago on Cinemoddities.
Well, yeah, that's they're being carried around by like 20 men on a platform because obviously they don't walk by themselves.
Okay. Well, maybe I don't want to be naive here, and I'm sorry, I don't want to derail the conversation. You guys have to talk about this episode, but how did Jabba move in Return of the Jedi? Was that platform carried by people?
It had, back then they had technology where they could move platforms without people having to carry them. In this series, they don't have that. But
doesn't this take place after it though?
Yeah, but it's selective, right?
Okay.
In A New Hope, Jabba sort of gets around by himself.
Well, I do know this. A New Hope Jabba is a guy that looks like he's straight out of King Lear, right?
Yeah, and that's why when they CGI'd him, he could walk around like a normal dude. But yeah, so all that to say, obviously we don't have a lot of strong thoughts about Chapter 3. At least that's my guess about Zenger.
Oh, I just wanted to correct some stuff. They are not Siamese twins. You guys can take whatever stand you want. I'm taking the firm.
Is this offensive? I don't even really know what that means, to be honest.
The correct term is conjoined by 2022 standards.
But they're not.
That's what that means?
You guys are just saying that out of... I wanted to correct it because I've never yelled louder at my phone while listening to a podcast than I did the other day.
I think of the Aristocats, Lady and the Tramp.
You can't sing that anymore.
I'm about to. Okay, maybe Chris has shut me down, it seems.
Listen, I see where you're going. The reason that word is probably in the cultural zeitgeist still is probably literally because of weird 1930s movies, so we should probably go with conjoined, but Zenger says they're not even that. So what's your source?
No, they're just disgustingly laying against and on each other.
Okay, so they have no physical distancing, given that they're brother and sister. It makes it even weirder. Okay, I hear you saying.
Exactly.
All right, so I had a really good time with Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, and it wrote a check that Chapter 3 just could not cash for me. It made a lot of promises. It introduced this awesome Wookiee bounty hunter. It introduced these huts, and Chapter 3 dispatches with all of these cool new things in a very unceremonious fashion, in my opinion. The fight with Black Chrysanthemum, if that is his real name. Okay, good.
I was actually really kind of concerned because I saw some Knights of Vader Facebook group pictures where people were like Black Chewbacca, and I was like, is this offensive? Like what? Because I don't know anything about this, but I was like, what are people talking about?
That's
just to clarify, like they literally just basically officially named a character Black Chewbacca, and he is a Black Chewbacca. That's pretty much what happened. So but anyways, he looked really awesome. He looked very intimidating in episode 2. Chapter 2, let's not... you know what? That's probably why they called them chapters, so people wouldn't get them confused with the films.
Whoa! I know you mentioned it earlier, Zenger, that Matt Berry has a voice, and I love Matt Berry, but
yeah.
Also, I'm looking at like Stephen Root and Danny Trejo have been in this.
You ruined it! God dang it! I'm done with this podcast.
We'll get to Danny Trejo
from the mouth of babes, Zenger.
We'll get to Danny Trejo, but like the fight with Black Chrysanthemum, he smashes open. Boba Fett's sleeping as he does most of the time these days, and Black Chrysanthemum smashes his back to chamber, which first of all, like
great part.
The transition is great. But Black Chrysanthemum has a lot to answer for his poor performance in this fight. First of all, you're walking up on a sleeping dude. You have one chance to just finish the job instantly. If he fails at that in the first place, and then he decides to, do the sort of WWE thing where he throws him across the room 2 or 3 times before actually finishing him off. Now, Zenger, you seem to like this. The problem I'm having with this is that the reality of violence in the Star Wars universe seems to shift wildly between series. Like, in The Mandalorian, some goons got horribly murdered and killed in violent, horrible ways. In the first episode, a guy gets sliced in half by a door. A character who we're not sure if we're supposed to like in Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian, that terrible young bounty hunter. The Mandalorian just shoots him, and he's dead, and we never see him again at the end of the episode.
Hooray! Wait, do we cheer for that?
Yes, we do, because he was terrible.
Okay.
Black Chrysanthemum punches Boba Fett in the face with electric brass knuckles.
Yeah.
And
I like that sentence.
and,
Rock on.
And it seems to do exactly nothing, leaving no visible.
He's got fresh backed on him. Leave him alone.
It seems to do basically nothing. Which
Fresh backed on. I'm going with that.
Okay.
Also the Force.
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed that, Joe. Any thoughts on the direct face punch with the electric brass knuckles doing no damage?
Well, it's like getting hit in the face with a bag full of oranges. Yeah, you're gonna feel it, but it's not gonna leave a mark.
Okay, well, I guess that's how brass knuckles work and electric brass knuckles work in Star Wars.
I want because I'm reading plot synopses for these episodes right now. I want to say, Joe, you made a great joke. Can we replace oranges with black melons? According to what I'm reading, people were searching for black melons, so maybe it's like getting punched in the face by a bunch of black melons. I'm trying to evolve, guys. I'm sorry.
What about all those fruits that fall on the Twilight?
Yeah.
After the most exciting low speed chase I've ever seen.
Okay, that's okay. We'll get there, but like, so not only does Black Chrysanthemum punch Boba Fett in the face with electric brass knuckles and cause no visible damage, but he also picks him up, and we hear the sound of his spine being crushed with a Wookiee
Fresh Bacta.
A Wookiee bear hug of some kind.
What part of Fresh Bacta do you not understand?
Well, he's out of it now.
He's soaked in it.
He's out of it now, and and basically what we're being led to believe is that his back is being snapped in half by this Wookiee. And basically, the next time we see him, he's just wearing a bathrobe, and he seems perfectly healthy. So, like,
Fresh Bacta.
Well, we're gonna go. I guess we have.
Okay, you are not going after the Rancor-sized issue in the room.
Oh, this is where I'm taking it in chronological order, sir. Like there's problems in this first fight. First of all, the choreography was lame. I think generally the action's not as good as The Mandalorian. I don't want to call anybody out, but like I don't know if they have.
It's Robert Rodriguez. How are you messing this up?
I don't know if they have the B team on this or what the deal is, but just like spatially, the fights just seem weird. You have these sworn Gamorrean guards who are going to protect you. They've sworn their loyalty to you. They're just sleeping on the job. Black Chrysanthemum sneaks all the way upstairs, right past them, and then it's just I don't even know where to begin.
Okay,
can I just say that reading plot synopses of these episodes right now, it's like reading a reading a textbook. Like like Chris said before recording, I sent him 2 pages of math about an episode of Knights of Vader, and I'm having trouble understanding what the hell a Mayor Shays is right now.
That's just his name, Rob.
Oh, that's a name. Oh God, I'm lost in the sauce right now.
I empathize because I just told Zenger we're doing this in chronological order, and I just described much near the end of the episode. But so let's take it back a little bit. So we get introduced to this youth gang of cyborgs.
I still have a problem with the turn-based RPG fight with Black Chrysanthemum. Everyone took their turn against him. It wasn't a group fight. It was a group fight in the sense of, I haven't let my whatever restore. I can't attack him yet. Gotta wait for my turn. Use special attack.
And what do we think's going on here? Do we think the audience would have revolted if they had successfully murdered this assassin Wookiee?
No, okay, here's the thing. You have a weird spot where do you really want to have him murdering a ton of kids that are plucky kids that are now working for...
Nobody died, though. No one got substantially hurt.
My problem is this. It's a fight that was very weirdly done and amounted to nothing.
There it is. But earlier, like, I think we can't leave this group, this rebellious youth gang alone. So, like, actually looking at this chronologically...
Yes.
This guy called this water salesman bursts into Boba's palace at the beginning of the episode, and when I saw him in the wide shot,
and he wants his stapler.
When I saw him in the wide shot, I was like, that better not be Jon Favreau, or I'm just turning this off right now. Because it sort of looked like him at first. Like he had that like curly, like slight receding hairline look. I was like, I saw him in that stupid Spider-Man movie. He just loves inserting himself in these things. That better not be him. And luckily it wasn't.
When you say stupid Spider-Man movie, do you mean No Way Home?
Yeah, that you guys loved. I know. I'm sorry, guys.
I have to say, when he pulls up after, spoiler alert, Aunt May dies, when he finds that little driveway between the SWAT team and the building, I literally laughed out loud in the theater when no one else did.
when he wasn't shot immediately by that SWAT team, I was like already annoyed.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, geez. I mean, you guys even remember Iron Man 3 when Shane Black is reveling in the fact that he has him and Ben Kingsley in the same movie, and he's like, yeah, I got people from The Sopranos.
Let's not forget Jon Favreau has already inserted himself into The Mandalorian, luckily by voice only.
Okay.
So far.
Yeah, so this wasn't... So I was worried this was him. It wasn't. It's this guy complaining that a bunch of teenagers stole
his stapler.
A bunch of water. They stole a big jug of water from him because there's Tatooine.
And his stapler.
And water's rare.
Stapler.
Yeah.
Don't take my stapler. I'll burn the building down. Don't take my stapler.
Exactly. So, so Boba Fett investigates, and he looks up this youth gang of cyborgs who, they spend all their money on cybernetic enhancements. Some of them have robot eyes, extending Inspector Gadget arms and whatnot. It's really quite outrageous.
And a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, well, what it reminded me of was the ill-fated Cyberpunk 2077, which is not a good thing to remind people of.
Whoa, wait, ill-fated? Whoa. Time will tell on that.
Critically,
I just put this episode that we're episode 3 on my TV. I just want to say that I had to scroll to get English subtitles. There's so many options for Chinese subtitles at the start of this on Disney Plus. That's insane. That's insane. I'm sorry. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Maybe that's your regional VPN or something acting up. I don't know. But basically, he goes to investigate this youth gang. He talks to them. He's like, why'd you steal that guy's stapler?
Wow, there are a lot of subtitle options.
Dude, I had to scroll through like 7 different subtitles to get to English. And I know it's alphabetical, I'm sure. Oh my God, I'm seeing what you're talking about. They're conjoined twins, Zenger.
What is... You know what the biggest victory for me in this show is going to be? Seeing them not beside each other. That is all. That's all I need at this point.
Zenger, I desperately hope we ever see them again. I kind of doubt it.
Oh, cool. They have the subtitles in Canadian.
There's 4 or 5 words that are spelled differently, so maybe that's what it's about.
Wait, is there an intro theme song to the show, or is the intro just the Star Wars? There's an intro theme song, but I think it mostly just comes up at the end credits. Oh, okay.
And so it's not an intro theme song; it's just a regular theme.
Because I just muted myself and turned on my noise so I could maybe comment on the music, and it was just the stupid thing of showing R2-D2 and Darth Vader again. What the
9 minutes 8 seconds in is where the title card pops up.
We'll get to that. I'm just gonna let it play. I don't care that much.
Anyways, so what I'm liking about this is, Zinger's finally showing some dissent. Like he came into the show with no expectations, but like maybe this chapter 3 is finally getting to him. So
no, it's you guys' review of it is getting to me.
Okay, so he walks up to these teenagers. He's like, "Why'd you steal Jon Favreau's stapler?" And they say, "Well, there's no jobs. There's no jobs, so we had to steal the water. We can't work because there's no jobs. So we can't buy water with the money because we don't have any jobs to make the money."
And he's charging too much.
Yeah, and he's also charging too much because he's a watermonger. So right away I got a problem with this.
You can't hear the eye rolling I'm doing right now, but I'm just making that apparent.
I did hear your face palm a few seconds ago. I think in response to what I said. So you're good, Zenger.
I'm gonna make it worse. Right away, this 2008 girl starts talking to him, and she's like explaining the sociological reasons why she's in a youth gang that commits crimes. this is not how reality works. The kids who are in gangs don't
Exactly.
understand.
This is a fantasy sci-fi film.
No, but they don't. The kids who are in gangs don't understand the sociological reasons why they're in gangs. Like they shouldn't be giving that lecture to Boba Fett. It's just not right. It screams of social weird ideological pandering. It's like they shouldn't know the reason why they have these problems.
Maybe they're in one of those movies where everyone's like hyper intelligent and calls people out, like in that what is it, Monty Python, the Holy Grail, where the one of the serfs or villains is like explaining the like political and how the king and everything affects the land and all this other stuff. And yeah,
I think that you might have that someday, but I think a massive narrative shift like that would be something that would be like hold
on, wait, Rob's excited. We are getting a live reaction from Rob too. So
this is Stephen Root just showed up in the episode.
Yeah,
I want to listen to what
he's
he's
looking
saying.
for a stapler and water, preferably in that order. So
I'm muting myself so I can hear the thing. So don't worry about me. I'm watching it in real time.
Okay, my overall opinion on the episode, real quick, is I feel this is a transition episode. You had the height of episode 2. Everyone can agree that was a high point, but we have transition from the storyline of the Hutts being the villains to the Pikes being the villains, allegedly. So, your dissent on my comments. I want to hear back.
Well, it's just like who in their right mind would rather have the Pikes as the villains than the twins. The twins are far more interesting and hilarious.
Why? Because you want to see them like fight with their conjoinedness.
They have so much more to offer. First of all, they have an interesting family connection to Jabba. They have a much bigger army of goons than Boba Fett does. The Pikes are just kind of lame in this show, in my opinion.
Are they?
It was cool. It was cool seeing them, but like they don't look like real Pikes from the Clone Wars. They look like more like, I don't know. They're like very humanoid stunt dudes, and they're just like, the mask is cool of the alien face, but they should have put more effort to like not make them just look like regular dudes.
Well, I'm gonna. Okay, Rob, are you paying attention? I'm gonna blow your mind.
I'm paying attention. I just want to say, I just watched Stephen Root's appearance when he talked to Tamara Morrison, and Stephen Root is great. He's always great. I love him as an actor. I get a lot of flack when I say he's the best performance in Get Out. I love his hand acting. Nobody can do better finger work than Stephen Root, and he's doing it in this scene. But he said something I have to ask you guys. Tatooine was once covered by water.
Thank you. What
is this? This is news to me.
Okay.
I thought the whole point of Tatooine from the prequels is that people only settle at the poles because it's so hot everywhere else.
You're thinking of Dune.
No, I'm not. I know for a fact don't they say in the prequels?
No.
In Phantom Menace that they
You are thinking of Dune.
I'm not thinking of Dune, Zenger. You and I did a whole Dune episode. I'm not thinking of Dune.
Rob, would you believe me that they definitely don't say that in any Star Wars movie?
I would believe you, Chris, over Zenger. I'm sorry.
Okay. So yes, is Tatooine and Dune and Arrakis from the named movie and book series Dune.
We could argue that all the time. But okay, please, you guys, expand. What is this whole Tatooine used to be underwater? What is this?
In the expanded universe, and this is not like official canon because it's not been official canon again.
Disneyfied, you mean? Yes. Okay.
Well, it is now.
Well, now it is, but I don't know if it's the official reason why. So back in the Disney, Tatooine did have water, and then this whole freaking weird genocide, bombarded the planet with lasers forever happened, and it basically ruined the climate and destroyed everything and turned it into sand.
Right, that happened a long time ago when you hear about it in Knights of the Old Republic, which is like 2,000 something years before A New Hope.
But the thing is this, what are pikes in our real world?
You got me.
A freshwater fish.
Exactly. They keep bringing up water and how important water is, water this, water that. I think they're going for some symbolism here by having the pikes be the main bad guys, because of the water symbolism, linking that, and the water symbolism to Tatooine. Also, the water symbolism of Dune. Apparently, someone really enjoyed Dune.
This is what I hate when I go to Wikipedia or StarWars.fandom.com and I read these articles and they throw me words that have like 16 dotted letters in a row. Like I can't understand that quickly. I hate this stuff.
So, anyways, that is my response for why I'm kind of excited about the whole Pike thing. Also, Boba dropping that. Oh, I grew up on a planet covered in water. Like water is for some reason important. And after seeing Dune one too many times and reading the books enough, water is important in there too. So I think somebody was like, "Hey, you know how Dune inspired Star Wars? We're gonna really just dig into that."
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me chime in here. Wikipedia. The whole planet was covered in harsh deserts and only a small part of its northern hemisphere could sustain intelligent life. That's what I was thinking of. Chris, you might be right that I might be misremembering that they didn't say it in episode 1, but I read this somewhere.
Okay, well, they didn't say it in any Star Wars movie or show ever, but that's fine.
I don't understand how I would ever know that.
Hold on. From the mouth of babes. Ellie, real quick.
Oh, no.
Ellie, where do people settle on Tatooine? Do they settle at the poles or just anywhere on the planet? Please yell to respond.
I'm not getting in the middle of that.
Or is Rob thinking of Dune? Just say Rob's thinking of Dune.
I hope the recording picked that up when she said, I'm not getting in the middle of that.
Thank you.
Okay.
From the mouth of babes.
That's sort of like a realistic scientific approach would be like, maybe it'd be the most hospitable place by the poles. There might actually be some water that's most likely place for water probably. And it'd be a little cooler.
And the sandworms can't get there.
Then you have to start asking questions like, well, what's the oxygen source like on Tatooine anyways? And what would be interesting though is if the water sort of evaporated like in the last 2,000 years, maybe let's say 3,000, like how it sort of depicts it in Knights of the Old Republic. Maybe it was way earlier than that. That's a pretty short geological timescale. So like it could be just careening towards planetary death. Like every time we've seen it in the Star Wars saga, like maybe it's got another 1,000 years and then it's just no one's going to live there. And that's why like you see the town sort of falling apart post Return of the Jedi, because it's just like, they're living on borrowed time over there. But that's besides the point, because cool. The Tatooine used to have water all over it.
Yeah,
I already knew that.
Sorry. I'm just railing things because I'm a plebe.
As did Arrakis.
And
we're not. I don't want to. Zenger, you know my thoughts about Dune. I don't want to get into that.
they try to appease the cynical nerds with member berries in this episode, like also like when Boba Fett pets his new Rancor, he's like, I've ridden beasts 10 times this size, which is a pretty direct holiday special reference.
Jesus Christ.
And
ooh, that I like that.
I don't.
And well, it's not a reference to anything else. I mean, that's what it is.
I know, that's the part that angers me the most.
They're not getting me with this stuff, man, because like this youth gang of teenagers is lame. I don't like them. They're lame. The little girl shouldn't have saved him from the evil Wookiee bounty hunter who's like 8 feet tall. It's just not good. The violence is phony A-team violence where nothing actually happens and people get thrown across the room like WWE and like they not get hurt, and like it's just like even Luke's face was all screwed up and bloody after like he went through some ordeals. Like I just don't like the cartoonish way the violence is being depicted. If that Wookiee's gonna pick up Boba Fett and try and snap him in half, and they're gonna put a sound effect in there implying that bones were being broken, and then he's just gonna be walking around in his Hugh Hefner bathrobe like 2 minutes later like nothing happened, saying that the Gamorrean guard can go in his back to tank. The stakes don't exist.
But that shows that he is compassionate and cares about the Gamorreans and about the people that work for him, because most people don't give two craps about them.
But it also shows that I never have to be worried about whether he's going to actually get killed or not, because of course he won't, because he never even gets slightly hurt.
I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying at this point with that one. I had something and it completely left me.
I got nothing. Can I ask? Can I ask a question of you guys? This is maybe Star Wars related. I don't want to derail you guys too much,
Sure.
but something I wanted to ask you is, do you guys like Tamara Morrison as an actor? Of course, me being from Cinemoddities, I love the actor side of things and stuff like that. And I don't really know Tamara Morrison from a lot of things other than Star Wars. I mean, the last thing I ever saw him in was, yes, I did watch it, the live action Dora the Explorer movie. And he's not good in that. He is like almost detrimental. Like he doesn't know what movie he's in. And I'm sorry, everybody, if you've seen the Dora movie. But I mean, in terms of Star Wars, you know, so he's in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. He's in this. He's in Mandalorian. I don't know. Do you guys like him as an actor? Like, is he pulling the weight of Boba Fett, or is he just in the role because of, like, you know, tradition? Because he played it originally.
Tradition.
So are Star Wars fans, when I say you guys, when I say you people, I mean Star Wars fans here. Do you guys like that? I mean, I don't really know what to think of him because I've only really seen him in Star Wars things.
It was definitely a legacy casting because he was the only person that you ever saw with Jango Fett with his helmet off. And that's why he's casted as Boba Fett.
Okay.
He is the face of Boba Fett now and forever because of that.
Is anybody good in episode 2, though? That's my other question.
No.
Ian McDermott.
Oh, okay. You're right.
True.
You're right. I do
True.
love me some Ian McDermott.
True. So my response to Tamara Morrison, how do I care as a Star Wars fan? Someone who's blindly indifferent to Boba Fett prior to this whole thing, my response is this. What if Spider-Man's superpower was to shoot spiders out of his hands instead of webbing?
Okay, interesting.
That is how blindly indifferent I care about this situation. But would there be any crime?
I think I get what you're saying, but Chris, I want to know.
I think there'd be more crime because people would get in car accidents and get angry about rogue spiders walking around all the time. So I think that you bring up a good point, Rob, and I don't think Tamir Morrison's a particularly good actor. I think it was a great idea to bring him back as Boba Fett in The Mandalorian season 2, where he wasn't carrying the whole show, and we could just get a little taste of him here or there, and it was fun because he's a clone of his father. So if they recast him, it's sort of continuity breaking in some way, and they haven't really done that besides young Han Solo, which everyone pretty much agrees is weird and terrible for the most part. They haven't really done a whole lot of that yet. But yeah, I don't think he's a particularly great actor. I think the reason there was a rumored Boba Fett movie that got shelved, and the reason that originally Favreau wanted The Mandalorian to be the Boba Fett show at first, and I think fear of leading man Tamir Morrison was part of the reason why that never happened the first time.
Okay.
I really believe that, because I think if you're Disney and you're shelling out this money to get this show off the ground, that seems just like a weird first step to take. I think they didn't feel comfortable with it. I think that was part of it. Part of it's the character having a lot of baggage too,
which this series has ignored, which I like that. They basically said, anything before him getting in the Sarlacc pit doesn't matter now. And I like it. Like
I was sort of saying on our last episode, I think that makes sense because what the show's trying to tell us is that spending how I don't know, at this point we don't know exactly how long he lived with the Tuskens, because I guess I don't think it was close to 5 years. We saw the end of the Tusken camp in this episode, and I don't know how long we're meant to believe it's been since he escaped from the Sarlacc pit at this point.
Well, we're also assuming he wasn't stuck in the Sarlacc pit for 4 years. Like I continue to theorize on my own. So even if that was the case, he didn't live with the Tuskens that whole time. But the way they're sort of shaping things, it's the experience of living with them and going through some trials and tribulations is what shifted his character significantly enough that it doesn't matter who he was in the original trilogy, for example. But the images of him being washed clean, white suit, all that stuff, imagery. Just going to keep saying that until maybe it sinks in. Much like the imagery we can find in Dune.
We're not
never.
I'm just looking through Tamar Morrison's, credits and stuff, and
it's not long.
I actually totally forgot that he's Abin Sur in the Green Lantern movie.
Oh, shit, yes.
Which I actively try to forget because I love Green Lantern in the comic book.
Same.
Apparently he's in that. And also, he's in Couples Retreat, the movie written by Jon Favreau. So there's got to be some, in there, right? Of course, the legacy casting of him being the Attack of the Clones guy, but at least him and Favreau know each other.
What year is Couples Retreat?
Couples Retreat is 2009.
I was going to say 7.
Oh, you were close.
It'd be funny if he was in that just because Favreau's like, Jango Fett was cool, like in a butthead voice.
I mean, it might be the case. Jon Favreau only wrote that. I will give 1 point to anybody who can, off the top of their head, remember who directed Couples Retreat, because it's a shock.
George Lucas.
No, Peter Billingsley, the kid from A Christmas Story, directed Couples Retreat.
Seems about right.
Who is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So they're all just like all over each other at this point, I think.
Aside from Jon Favreau, do you say he wrote it or he produced it?
Yeah, Jon Favreau wrote Couples Retreat. I think he's in it as well. I saw that once, and it was filthy, if I remember correctly.
Isn't that the one with Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah, I think Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston are are the main characters. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen that in so long.
You found Tamira Morrison's non-Star Wars acting credit. That's really good. That with Aquaman. But also we can't forget he has a couple scenes in episode 3 as generic clones, such as Commander Cody. Yeah, so he hangs out there too.
Does he do any of the? This is a normie question. Does he do the voices in like the Clone Wars or anything? Or
absolutely not.
D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. D. Bradley Baker is a great voice actor, and he deserves that. The equivalent of Tom Noonan in Anomalisa is just D. Bradley Baker voicing all of the clones in Star Wars. That's an Anomalisa reference for everybody who knows what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, I think we need to capitalize slightly on Rob being here and being an outsider. He's definitely not one of us. So like what we need to ask him. So you saw what the twins look like.
They're actually on my screen right now. There's something going on with slug huts right now.
Wait, do you see who's in the background?
There's people holding them up on a platform right now, and they're saying, "We don't want war, bad for business." That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Oh, Black Chewbacca! Black Chewbacca just showed up.
I don't know if you skipped over his very underwhelming wrestling match, but either way,
yeah, I think I missed that. I think I saw some. It looked like Tamara Morrison came out of one of the Matrix pods. He was covered in goo, and Black Chewbacca was beating him up. I caught that out of the corner of my eye.
Did you see Tamira Morrison dressed as Uncle Fester go into a little house and talk to an alien?
No, but I want to.
All right, well, that was earlier than where you're at. So he goes in this. So I like you should scrub till you find that, because so there's this race of aliens called the Pikes. They're kind of like
right.
They're drug dealers. They're
spice dealers, much like the spice from Arrakis.
Yeah,
dude.
Disney Plus doesn't let me scrub. I got to do fast forward or 10 seconds back.
They show up at the end too, but basically they're just like a stock alien.
Hold on. 10 minutes, 56 seconds.
Thank you.
So you see these guys, they have their little gang. They sell drugs. They have trains and shipments and all this stuff. They have their little cartel.
Space train.
They've been introduced in the Clone Wars. They're a slightly legacy species, not super old in the canon, right? But people like them. We got 4 episodes left of this show. Okay, who is a more interesting antagonist? Those generic aliens or the twins? And they basically implied that those generic aliens have chased the twins off of Tatooine at the end of this episode.
Yeah, because there's the whole. We got to link his previous experience on Tatooine that we are having through the flashbacks with his current experience on Tatooine that we're having now. He obviously has history with the Pikes. Much like Pike, the fish has an interesting history with water, which Tatooine used to be covered in, as well as Dune, Arrakis.
So this thing that... God, this thing. I feel people, I don't know, Knights of Vader Facebook group, make fun of me all you want. The thing that Tamara Morrison is writing with the big horns, I went to about 10 minutes. This looks cool. I love it. This is a good shot. We get a wide shot of like the sun in the background, and he's walking up to, there's Jawas now. That looks great. That's a great practical effect.
I remember when I was excited about Banthas for the first time.
Exactly right, Rob, you can't even imagine how exciting Banthas are for someone who likes practical effects, because they involve on-screen live animals in a way that would never be done today.
They ruined it. There were some droids in the background that were clearly CGI, and that's stupid. Droids suck.
Well, okay. I want to test them real quick, Chris. What real world animal did they use to create the Bantha?
Mammoth? Elephant? I don't know I don't know.
Elephants would be correct. Also, fun animal fact real quick. Rob and Chris, did you know that elephants are excellent at hiding from predators in trees?
Is that why I don't
wait?
see
Hold on. I was about to say, have you guys ever seen an elephant in a tree before?
No.
Exactly. They're really good at it.
Zenger, you're making me think of a joke that I heard when I was like 4 years old. It's like, why don't we ever see an elephant? Like, how do you hide an elephant in a refrigerator? You go, how? You go, you open the door, you put the elephant in, you close the door.
Wow, I just barely mention elephants, and that's what happens. But Rob, somehow you're not aware that the Bantha, that creature, shows up in the original Star Wars movie, and in that case, they literally threw a disgusting blanket costume over a real elephant to create that. And in the
I did not know.
And
that.
in these modern shows, it's basically a puppet on a green screen stage.
Yes,
yeah.
I do know the whole thing about how they film this stuff on that spherical, green screen stuff. And
in which case, it barely needs to walk, and it looks like it's walking these days. So it doesn't have to be.
It's a good puppet, though.
Yeah.
I love me some physical effects. I love puppetry. I love stop motion. Not that this is stop motion, but I'm just saying that for completion. But this looks good. Like, I'm looking at these shots, like Tamara Morrison just got off of it and tied it to a post.
As you do.
And it looks good.
Okay. I was upset about this. I'm not trying to hammer this home. What does everyone think of the twins being CG instead of live action puppets? Because I know the internet's been in an uproar. Chris, I'm going to go to you first.
I think I said it on one of our earlier episodes, but I think for some reason CGI Jabba from 1999 Phantom Menace looks a bit better than these guys. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I think they definitely look better than A New Hope 2004 Jabba, but for some reason they don't look better than 1999 Jabba.
I'm going with, I don't mind it. If I focus on it, it bothers me. But if I just kind of am just watching it, it's okay. And I think if they had done it as a practical,
you wouldn't be able to look away from it. If they had done it as a practical, it would be the most mesmerizing thing in 30 years. It's a real shame they didn't do that.
Joe, computer generated or puppet? Which the Hutts? Which way should they have gone with it? Did they make the right decision? Let us know in the comments below or right now.
I think if they did it live action with the puppet, like in Return of the Jedi, that's their budget right there.
Yeah,
that's like 4 episodes budget.
It's funny because now the cheaper option is the computer generated,
where before it was, yeah. Well, you think when they did Return of the Jedi, what was it? 84, 83?
Mm-hmm.
82.
That too.
Computer generated, the best was at that time was The Last Starfighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously it worked then, but now New Hope Jabba, no, never again. These ones I'm okay with, and they're doing fine. Rob, you're the odd man out. You have no legacy to this. So what are you going to give us? Puppets or?
First of all, Rob, have you ever seen Return of the Jedi?
Yes. It's actually my favorite Star Wars movie.
I hate so much of having him on just because of the comments he makes, and I know they are genuine, and that's what irritates me the most.
I know I've said on Nights of Vader before, it was probably like 1.5 years, 2 years ago, but every time I watch Return of the Jedi, I still get chills at the end. I'm like, is Darth Vader gonna throw Palpatine in the pit? I still am like, is he gonna do it? I love that movie so much, man. I'm reacting because our co-host can see my face. I'm reacting to Tamara Morrison. He just talked to somebody and talked about the Nikto Sand Riders. Can you get any lazier than calling something in sci-fi either Klaatu or Barada or Nikto? Like, come on, we've been there from the 50s.
Right, but the problem with that is they've been Nikto since 1983, so it can't change it now.
Which is still after the day the Earth stood still. Just want to put that out there. Oh my God. Okay, Tamara Morrison, I'm getting the sense when he plays Boba Fett, he has one facial expression. That's what I'm seeing in these episodes. But to answer your question, Zenger, I think about practical versus CGI.
For the Hutts.
For the Hutts, yeah.
Specifically.
I am okay with the CGI Hutts from what I've seen because something that, Zack and I have said, oh, hold on. We're getting a toy, a Nikto toy. That is not Gort. I have to say, Chris, from the day the Earth stood still.
Rob, what you have to appreciate is that in 1983, all kinds of hipster kids didn't know the day the Earth stood still back and forth. So it was kind of a clever thing to say 40 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't know Flash Gordon either. Well, okay, Keanu Reeves is the remake. We don't talk about the remake thing.
Exactly. Can continue though with your.
So yeah, I feel it's something that Zack and I have talked about. I'm sure Zack's talked about on here, and I probably just haven't heard the episodes. I am very much forgiving of CGI when it is in relation to something that is not of this world. And I'm not saying that I want full CGI. Like, of course, Coruscant, to use an example, we don't have that in our universe. We don't have a whole.
Or just episode 2 in general.
Exactly. But
it was all CGI.
Exactly.
Awful.
What I'm getting at, though, is I am okay with using CGI elements when they are in reference to something that we can't understand as humans. Like, I don't want CGI when, people are sitting around in a boardroom because I know what that looks like. I want that to feel real. But with the Hutts, I've never seen a big slug person before. I've never seen a big slug person carried on a platform, let alone 2. So I'm okay if it's CGI because my brain can't comprehend what that would look like in live action. If it was live action and a big puppet, I don't think it would be distracting. I would say, hey, that looks cool. I really like that they put that artistry in there. But at the same time, and this is something that I get it with my co-host on Cinemoddities, Ben, we really like the artistry of CGI because when you get a computer-generated image done well and you understand how light has to reflect off of it, that is equally as artistic to me as a puppet because you have to understand how light reflects off of CGI more than you do a puppet. Because light reflects off of practical effects in the real world in the way that we expect. When you make something CGI, you have to put the time in to make sure that you are accounting for, well, what oils would be on that creature's skin? How would that reflect light? And how would that look to us? So this is where Zack will probably listen to this and say, Rob, you're never allowed on Knights of Vader again, because I think there is
I might beat him to that.
To CGI and to puppetry, if that makes sense.
Okay. Perfect. So here's the problem. Here's the big problem with that, Rob.
Okay, I'm ready.
So here's the thing, right? In terms of extreme Hollywood creature puppets, you're reaching the absolute peak of the art before the library of big robot puppets of Alexandria was smashed and they never did it again because of CGI. So like you have Jabba and you have the alien queen from Aliens, regardless of the fact that movie's overrated. So
yes,
it's a really great puppet. And but Jabba, I would argue, like they're close. They're like 3 years apart. Jabba, I would argue, is better because he's more comparable to a human character. He's flesh and blood. He has eyes and a face. The Alien Queen, you can get away with a lot because it's basically a big animated skeleton.
Sure.
So it's not as much work. So arguably Jabba's the most ambitious puppet ever, and then they just stopped trying after that. So it would have been interesting to see them take a crack at it, especially when you have Netflix setting up the infrastructure for one season of The Dark Crystal to then just cancel the show, which like sure, maybe they should have never made that show, but like
agreed, the
amount of money they poured into that, I would have settled for the head being a puppet. Maybe you got to animate the whole gear with all the guys carrying the platform and all that, and the arms and the tail and all that.
You're saying maybe they should have done something opposite of what Lucas did. Instead of CGIing things around a face, keep the face real and CGI the body, the part that we're not going to focus on, because humans are inherently drawn to 2 dots in a line that make a face.
The puppet Jabba head from Return of the Jedi is probably the craziest puppet ever made, pretty much. Like, the eyes have like 4 moving parts inside them. Like, it's just, there's a lot going on. There's like 5 guys inside of that thing to make it work. Like, and then some remote control stuff too. I think it would have been fun to try that. I think they could have pulled off the head.
That's a neat idea. I'm kind of with you that I would have loved to see that. I also want to say, just for the record on Knights of Vader, I know I've said it many times on Cinemoddities in my life, I am anti-Gelflings from the Dark Crystal. I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I just wanted to say
robots, Gelflings. Yep. Really gonna have a
okay.
Anyone on Arrakis? Anyone on Arrakis
huts
too
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of, when I see it, when we're talking about it, it looks a little distracting, but we have subtitles with them as well. Do you think part of the allure, maybe not allure is the right word, but they're trying to distract you from the CGI with the subtitles? Oh no,
Possible.
We just got a wide shot of people holding them up. That looks horrible. Oh no. Okay.
There you go.
Well,
okay, I did not like that.
I didn't find it distractingly bad. I'm guessing they never show up again for the remaining 4 episodes.
Hey, Danny Trejo. He's
there. Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. I was on a countdown of when we were going to see Trejo. Oh, Robert Rodriguez is doing this. Danny Trejo is going to be in it somewhere, somehow.
Do you think he is? Well, not do you think. You guys would know. Is he playing Machete? Yes. Is he Machete from the Spy Kids universe?
Yes.
The script described the character as a Rancor keeper that looks like Danny Trejo, so they had to hire Danny Trejo. I think that's what happened.
I hope, Chris, you're making the joke about there's actually many instances where people in like the early 2000s wrote scripts and said, this role is written for someone who looks like Danny Trejo. And then Danny Trejo would go, well, you put it in the script. Why don't you just hire me? I think it's everything after Heat, from Michael Mann's Heat, where he plays, if anybody doesn't remember, Danny Trejo plays a character called Trejo in Michael Mann's Heat.
Well, yeah, this story I was familiar with was that is how the character is described that he plays in Predators, whose name is Cachillo, which is just another knife rather than machete. But so, it's just like, it's funny to see him. It doesn't take me out of it. I don't mind that super iconic Danny Trejo's in Star Wars.
Oh, I love it.
He doesn't have a whole lot to do.
Why does one of the huts have a fan? One of the huts is fanning.
It's hot. Okay, it's hot on Arrakis.
It's a tiny fan. It's the stupidest looking thing.
The best thing about the huts is that the other one uses a small rodent-like creature to dab off his sweat that's currently alive while he's doing it.
See, that's cool. Use a creature. Impart your like control over other living things, because the huts are supposed to be gangsters, right? Like, yep. I loved in Return of the Jedi when Jabba's slurping down live cockroaches or whatever those things are.
You can see those swimming around, by the way, in a little jar off to the side.
Nice. I want take one of the huts, make him pluck like a bird out of the sky and start fanning itself. Don't give me an actual fan. Like, the hut should be using like a bird's wing. He should kill a falcon and fan himself with it or something like that.
How is Rob writing better Star Wars right now?
I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, because I'm supposedly the resident spends more time learning about pointless Star Wars facts than anybody else on the call currently. The small creature that the one twin is drying himself off with is a hoojib, and they have existed in Legends for about 40 years.
Okay.
What are you? I know what part of what you're. What is this? Are you holding up like a vinyl?
This is a vinyl read along book from 83 or 84.
That is so cool.
Called Planet of the Hoojibs.
Planet of the Hoojibs.
And you have Chewbacca holding some of these little mouse creatures that the one hut's drawing himself off with. So yes, 1 or 2 listeners who knew what that was and was screaming, why aren't they mentioning that member berry? I know what it was. It's just the rest of the episode wasn't good, so I don't care.
Okay,
Chris,
I'm gonna.
you are so cool with your merchandise. I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'm gonna run upstairs in my apartment. I'm gonna grab some of my own Star Wars merchandise to show to you guys. But so I'll be right back. But Chris, that was so cool. You had a Star Wars vinyl. Like I get excited when my friends have like old school rip-off Bowie vinyls. That was awesome. You have a vinyl that's Planet of the Hoojibs. None of my friends have that. That's awesome.
Okay, while he's gone and while I attempt to, maybe it's all the protein I've been drinking, but I do feel the need to give Chris a noogie as a Star Wars fan. But yes, it was one of those things. I knew that they existed. I just could not remember the name. And the second you showed me that, I was like, oh, that's where they're from. No, I mean, like,
They're basically tribbles.
basically. Like I said, Trejo being in this, the whole, is he good or bad?
I think it's being played completely straight. I think he's good. Ancillary canon and Legends material have led us to believe that the Rancor Keeper is not so much a job as a calling.
Okay.
Like, the Rancor Keeper wants to be there. He loves spending time with the Rancor.
I'm just wondering, because I got kind of vibes. I'm like, maybe he's evil. Maybe that is the assassination attempt, was to trick him into, being close to this Rancor, and of course the Rancor is going to kill him.
I completely disagree. I think the reason the twins gifted him the Rancor was because had Black Chrysanthemum succeeded, they would have been moving in that morning, and they thought it would be fitting to reinstall a Rancor in the pit.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
Otherwise, it's like, why on earth are they giving him this amazing gift, right? Like, they planned on putting that in the basement themselves and setting up shop just like Jabba did.
I am really down with that. I did not even think of that. Fantastic job. Rob is back to try to out nerd our resident nerd.
No, I kind of realized when I ran up to grab things that I don't want to derail your guys' episode too much. If there's other things to say about this episode, please do. I don't want to derail you. I just wanted to. I have two things to show you. One, I have my Squid Head action figure, my favorite action figure of all time. I'm trying to hold it. I don't know where. Okay, there we go. Look at that.
Yep, that's Squid Head. He's from Star Wars. Yep.
I love Squid Head so much. Look, I got Chris can probably tell me if this is good or not. I got the gun with it too. The blaster, I guess.
He's got a cloak, a skirt, and a belt.
Yes, it's all like actual felt. It's been collecting dust since I've had it since I was maybe 8 years old or something like that. And I love it. I love Squid Head. And that is why I think I said on this podcast prior, I hate the first episode of The Mandalorian because he kills a squid head. And that upsets me deeply.
Had that squid head got caught in a sphincter-like door in the Book of Boba Fett, the door would have got round him, and then because it hit a solid object, bounced off and caused him no damage.
But dude, this is crazy. I mean, I think Chris I don't know exactly when this came out. Like
83.
The arms move, the legs move, the head swivels. Like there's a clasp on the back of the belt that I could probably mess with to take it off.
What he's describing everyone as an action figure, and they've existed for some 60 years.
Well, when I think about like modern action figures, it's just like, yeah, I'm thinking nowadays, what do we got? Funko Pops? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Are you calling out me holding my life-size Funko Pop of a Porg?
That thing's ugly as hell, Zenger.
You're just mad that it's actual size.
Well, I can hold this in my hand. It seems like
me too.
Just swaddle that thing. You got it it's like you're holding it like it's your newborn or something. You're trying to prop up its neck.
It is. Oh, come here. Oh.
In Star Wars Legends, Squidhead was Jabba's accountant.
Really?
What?
Is this why I like Squidhead so much? He's the numbers dude?
It might be. Like that was his old story before Disney took over. I don't know if he has a job now.
I am very happy. I will set Squidhead next to my my audio processor while we record. I have one other thing I wanted to show you, but it has to come at the end of the episode. I don't want to derail you guys because I think it will.
We don't need to, because let's go to the end of the episode. Oh, the Pikes show up. Also, there's a very terrible joke that I'm like, that had to have been left on the cutting room floor, and someone just forgot to cut the keep an eye out.
Yeah, so he says keep an eye out to the guy who has one cyborg eye, and he's like, oh, it's all good. I paid a lot of money for this eye. Listen, this teenage gang of cyborgs are so unthreatening. This, like, when what's the name of the Twi'lek mayor assistant guy? I don't know. When the mayor's assistant runs away They chase him very slowly in their Vespas down the street, and he crashes. And then
I think I'm watching that scene right now. They just ran past a C-3PO.
No, they didn't run past. They slowly glided by. Yes. I'm clarifying.
I get it. Somebody in the Knights of Vader Facebook group posted that part of Back to the Future too. I get it now.
Okay, when the mayor's assistant finally crashes and he gets stuck.
Mox Shay's major domo.
Okay, so he's the major domo of the mayor. We still haven't learned his name. But when he finally crashes, this 2008 girl jumps off her bike and she walks up to him and she just gives him the blue steel. She doesn't even have a gun or anything. She's just standing there and she just smolders at him as if that's going to kill him.
Well, I mean, at least she wasn't 2008.
Some of this, I'm watching this. I think I know what you mean by 2008 girl. They're drifting on their little motorbikes or whatever. This looks terrible.
It just looks really slow, bad. Right? It just looks like they're not moving fast enough for that.
It looks slow, but it also looks composited. Like, I don't believe that these characters are dealing with the actual background. It looks like it's green screen, which of course it is, but I don't think it's once again, what I was saying earlier with the CGI, it's not shaded properly. I don't think that, they're looking, oh my God, they just drove through somebody carrying a picture like the glass pane comic from Looney Tunes. That's bad.
Yes,
that's
bad.
And
of course, and it's even worse than you think, Rob, because that is a real Ralph McQuarrie painting for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, it was a picture of Jabba. And oh no. Oh, she just went up a ramp like it's a GTA power move or something like that. Oh no.
They finally get him to crash, and she goes to apprehend him, but she just stares at him. She doesn't even pull out a gun or anything.
Okay, I think that's coming up. The crash just happened. A bunch of peaches just fell on this dude. Real question. Not to, once again, to be the normie, but an actual question I actually have had for a while. Twi'leks or Twi'leks, whatever they're called. Is there a distinction between male and female with how many tentacles or head things they have? Because I know Bib Fortuna has one.
No, he has two.
They're all two.
He does have two? Oh, they all two.
He just has the one wrapped around
That's why I thought it was one. Oh, I just saw what you're talking about, Chris. She just looks at him and the scene ends and Boba Fett jetpacks down. And I'm not watching it with sound on, but I don't understand what just happened.
And when Boba Fett jetpacks down, he looks so 2D. It's like, what's going on? Did they just slide a PNG of Boba Fett down there?
My people need me. Click, 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 click.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm scrubbing back a little bit to watch it again, but I'm kind of with you. That looked janky.
It's like he was not there that day. He was at the spa, and they just got some guy in the suit to like stand on the green screen, and they PNG'd him down.
Oh yeah, okay, 2D. Oh my God.
He just sort of slides down, right? It's not, I don't know. But like, as far as even the jetpack action is concerned, Mandalorian season 1 and 2 just did it better.
It's those kids book. I'm sure we all familiar with those kids book. It's not pop up, but we have those tabs where it's like, pull this and the character slides into frame. That's what I just saw.
They probably realized that the girl just stared at him. And then when they filmed it, Boba Fett never showed up, but they realized, how are they going to apprehend him if she's just staring at him? We've got to make Boba Fett slide down in post-production.
Yeah, because there's no interaction between any of them, really.
Yeah.
So it could have just been anybody there.
It's jammed in. I mean, they even go so far. I'm trying to rewatch as much as I can with the back 10 seconds, which is failing me on Disney Plus. But it looked, because in that scene when Boba Fett jumps down, nothing is in focus except Boba Fett, which is weird. It's not that when Boba Fett comes into screen, he gets into focus. Even before he's on screen, nothing's in focus. And that screams to me that they CGI'd it because they didn't put the effort into focusing on or changing the focal lens or the depth of field when he comes into frame, like you would do in an actual, if a character actually came down, you'd have to change that aperture. It is literally just they were preparing. It's like in SpongeBob when you can tell what is going to be touched because it's animated differently from the background, if that makes sense.
Or
that seems like what they did.
Or other like mid-'80s cartoons.
Exactly.
Or a lot of
Hanna-Barbera did that all the time. Yeah, absolutely. It's like once you realize it's Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, you can see this all the time. You know what they paid money to animate because it looks different from the static background.
Right, and if there was a more moving camera, they would have had to compensate for the way he lands and all that. It just like her just walking up to the guy, just generally this whole youth gang, knowing the exact sociological reasons why they're in a gang. They're not dirty enough. They're too well kept. They easily are sort of purchased by Boba Fett in some fashion. I don't like them. I don't think they're funny.
Very British gang.
Doctor Who is one of the members. He looks exactly like one of those guys. Looks exactly like Doctor Who. That bothered me. Took me out of it. I don't like them.
What are these speeders? These bright colored like
they're
pastel
just Vespas.
red, blue, yellow. Like what is this?
Just a Vespa.
Shouldn't they be dour and drab to fit the color scheme of the rest of, I'm assuming, Tatooine in this episode?
Why not?
That's so weird.
Or maybe they're just going for some sort of very vague American Graffiti related reference or something like that.
That's actually a good point. Okay, the episode just ended. I'm turning off my TV. I don't want to watch any more of this. But I actually, that's a good point. Chris, I didn't think of that. The thing I was thinking of is that this is coming across to me as a sense of like what is going on in Dubai currently. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. People will buy supercars in Dubai, like really fancy supercars, and they can't make the payments. And in UAE, there's this whole thing about if you can't make a payment on something, it is equivalent to stealing. And so you go to jail. And so there's this whole thing of people leaving really fancy supercars out in the desert and trying to relinquish themselves of having to make those payments. And I'm kind of thinking it's like, well, are people on Tatooine finding the fanciest motors in existence and just riding them to their heart's extent? It's very strange to me.
They have money for elective surgeries to get extending arms and eyes and all that. And they have money for their Vespas, but they don't have money for water. They got to steal their water.
Okay, it's sounding more and more like Dubai.
It's sounding more and more like Arrakis. Dude.
Oh God, Zenger, come on, please.
The elective surgery aspect, I hear what you're saying, Rob.
I just want to point this out as my final thing for this. There was a great voice actor cameo, if anyone caught it.
Love it. Please hit me up with the voice actor, Zenger. This is what I live for.
Phil Lamar was the Pike boss, the one that he talks to in the flashback.
Is this a CGI character or
so it's just CGI?
So it's just Phil Lamar's voice, is what you're saying?
It's just Phil Lamar's voice, to the best of my knowledge.
I don't think it's CGI, but maybe it is. I didn't think it was.
It's a non-person character, so obviously they got a mask on or something.
I guess I'm asking this because I wanted to know: is Phil Lamar in the makeup or is he just dubbing the voice?
I believe he's just dubbing the voice.
Okay. Still good, like that. That's big. Phil Lamar's awesome, man. Okay.
Phil Lamar, best known as Marvin from Pulp Fiction.
Yes, many lines I know about him in Pulp Fiction that I cannot say in this podcast or in real life.
Futurama, Hermes Comrade, Samurai Jack, the titular character Samurai Jack, as well as Mad TV Green Lantern from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Absolutely.
For another Green Lantern reference. He's also in Young Justice as Aquaman. So there's a turn for you right there.
Never forget the first episode of Mad TV ever includes the Gump Fiction sketch, which is a crossover between Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump. And Phil Lamar is in it. And when he's in the back of the car, he has the great line, "Oh no, not again!"
But yes, he is a voice actor in tons of stuff. Like basically, and I have seen him do a live table read. It was amazing, fun, and I just wish I was there every day.
He's one of the greatest voice actors to ever live. He's one of the greatest people to ever live. I know because I actually watched it recently. He is on the train that Tobey Maguire stops in Spider-Man 2. He is one of the passengers. Yes.
He is one of those people that is a great voice actor, but also is like a great just background character. Also, this is not his first dabbling in the world of Star Wars. He was also in an episode of Star Wars Resistance, and I'm sure he's been in other stuff too. Like the list for him it literally goes on.
Oh yes, I would be remiss if I did not mention he is Hypno Priest and Momo in Adventure Time.
There you go.
Is it a mark of a fantastic voice actor that you absolutely would not recognize them without being told?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is what I look for in voice actors, that they are, you've heard the phrase. I'm sure we've all heard the phrase when you talk about actors, that's a good actor is a chameleon on stage and screen. Voice actors, I think that goes tenfold for, because I love when I hear a voice acting performance, whether it be an animation, in CG, whatever, and I go, man, that was a great performance. Who was that? And I look it up and I go, oh, yes, I know that person. I can't believe they once again disguised their voice in a way that made me had to look it up. And that's a reason that I hate sometimes, like Jason Mantzoukas. He doesn't do anything but his own voice, and that's a problem for me.
No, here's my thing. Certain characters it works for. Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton, like if he ever tried to do anything else, they'd just be like, just be yourself.
You're right. You're right there, Zenger. That's a great point. If you have a distinctive enough voice and you can own it, I think you can work that way. I think Jason Mantzoukas, he thinks he has a distinctive voice and he does not. It doesn't carry as well.
It's funny because
if anybody doesn't know, he's Rafi from The League. That's the guy I'm talking about.
It's every character he plays is just a version of Rafi, which I'm fine with.
Yes.
I'm fine with because I'm like, oh, this person will be an a-hole. Awesome. I'm on board. My final thoughts and final thing I wanted to point out real quick before we are done with this is I lost my train of thought again. Chris.
All right, Joe, you're so lovely. You hang out with us. You don't even rudely butt in while we're saying all kinds of stupid stuff. What did you think?
It was kind of lackluster for me, this whole episode. That, it was very disheartening to see what happened to the Sand People. I thought that they were going to be carried through to the end. The whole gift with the Rancor. I don't think it's the Rancor that they got to worry about. I think it's a Trojan Rancor. I think that they have people in it, and that's why he talked to it.
I love that idea.
Because they're going to pop out. Don't worry, he'll be back. Yeah, okay.
Do you think it's people or Jawas? I would love a Rancor filled with Jawas, and they hit it like a piñata.
It's going to be the pig people from Cloud City.
Perfect.
And they're going to sit there and
Ugnaughts.
The Gamorrean guards aren't even going to touch him because they're like, oh, little brother.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's as far as the biker gang, I get more of a Buckaroo Banzai type feel from them. Because especially the guy with the trench coat, oh, come on. It's the shiny scooters. I understand. Not really. I don't understand. It doesn't seem to fit. Even the speeder was a drab neutral color that they were chasing. How the hell are they getting a bright blue, like whatever year it is, scooter? They got the current year scooter on Tatooine on these people who, one, don't have jobs, and two, don't have water. So, but they have enough money to get droid parts put in them to upgrade them. And look at my fancy new moped that I just got.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's
hold
a
on.
Real question right there.
No, I have an answer to that question. What did Anakin Skywalker, the person we all hail, build with his bare hands out of spare parts?
He built 3PO.
He built 3PO on Tatooine, proving that Tatooine has tons of droid parts lying around. Also, I remembered my thing from earlier. We were talking about chameleon actors that we don't know. Like, it just shocks you. Yes. One of those I would like to point out in the movie Dune. Arrakis.
Oh God, come on.
Jason Momoa, total chameleon in that.
Are you
never knew it was
mind?
him?
Are you out of your mind? The person who is the least chameleon on stage and screen. Honestly, if you told me that Jason Momoa's part in Dune was B-roll from Aquaman, I don't even need to tell me. I believe that now. He's so bad in that movie. He is so bad in Dune, Zenger. We talked about
here's a human
podcast.
Human chameleon in that.
God.
There is. If you told me he was in the movie, I would have been like, where? Who?
Jason Momoa is a chameleon in the same sense that I am, where I put a plastic bag over my head and say I'm you, Zenger. That's what Jason Momoa does.
Jason Momoa also protests the building of telescopes. So, he's not only is he not
yes.
a chameleon, but he's also not not a friend of science, so I can't support him.
He is anti-looking into the galaxy, which is a strange stance to take.
Okay, it is. All joking aside, he is single now, so everyone out there understand that. I'm still holding out for Timothy Olyphant, so whatever.
There you go. You want to talk about a good actor, Timothy Olyphant. There you go.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe he's not a chameleon, but at least he can do more than one thing.
I think we can still agree in this episode discussing more Dune than you ever thought you would. Skarsgård, great Harkonnen. Total chameleon, definitely.
I have to agree with Zenger. The Baron Harkonnen, Stellan Skarsgård, as that is great. But as Zenger knows, my favorite performance in the movie, David Dastmalchian as his right hand man who dies. I love David Dastmalchian.
Barely in the movie.
I know. That's a testament to how bad that movie is. That I loved that minor performance the most.
I am 100% sure it's 3 scenes.
Yes.
They're all on different planets. They're all on different planets. It's him talking with Harkonnen. It's him talking to the legions.
Yes.
And
Charlotte
then
Rampling,
it's him getting killed.
Yes.
On Arrakis.
Great performance.
Desert
Great
planet.
performance. Absolutely. Everybody check out All Things Here Below, the movie he wrote and directed. He's fantastic in that.
Final Human Chameleon, David Batista.
Oh
I mean
God!
That as in he perfectly blends into being David Batista.
I don't think any movie Dave Bautista's been in, he doesn't know he's in a movie. I swear, people just film him and they're just like, let's B-roll, let's use it. He is such a bad actor, and this is what makes it worse. Dave Bautista goes on record and says like, The Rock and Vin Diesel are not actors; they're movie stars. I'm an actor, and I'm like, You moron. I almost cursed again. I'm like, you moron. You're a big, muscly person. You think because you had tiny glasses in the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, you're a good actor? Get the hell out of here. He's the worst part of Guardians of the Galaxy, other than them misusing songs like it's a war crime. And Dave Bautista, okay, you want to say Dave Bautista's a good actor? I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to the audience. If you want to say Dave Bautista's a good actor, you look at his interviews where he says, I'm better than The Rock. I'm better than Vin Diesel. I'm not going through their career trajectories. He did that stupid Amazon movie with the little girl. He's done the family spy comedy. He is literally reliving The Rock's career and, like, I don't know, through sheer force of will, saying, I'm not The Rock, when he's literally trying to be The Rock. It angers me.
Okay. It was a comment that could only have been bred of someone who, due to their initial career path, missed like 10 years of their formative life.
Yes. You know why The Rock is so popular? Because he realizes he's a screen presence. The Rock knows he's not an actor. He's selling his body, and he is just there to be imposing. He is our modern version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he knows that. When Dave Bautista comes out and goes, no, I'm a real actor. No, you are not. You have had terrible roles.
Okay.
You can't act to save your life. Like, get over yourself, Dave Bautista.
I just want to point this out. Have you seen Army of the Dead?
Yes, I have. It was
okay.
horrible.
Okay. I was about to say, I apologize that you had to watch that. My statement's over.
So, bottom line on the book of Boba Fett, Chapter 3.
Give me episode 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When does it come out? What are these coming out? Fridays? Is Wednesdays?
Wednesday at 3 a.m.
Eastern time, yeah.
Eastern time.
Yes.
Ooh, that good. Okay, that's 1 a.m. my time. Right on.
So the Rancor is a Trojan horse filled with Jawas or Ugnaughts or something.
Or Baby Yodas.
Oh no, Zenger.
Last annoying thing. I bet you at least when the Hutts ran away back to Nal Hutta, they at least had their own ship. These Pikes show up to take over the planet on economy airplane tickets. They're traveling like refugees.
They show up on a bus.
They show up on the regular Star Cruiser that takes the plebs to and fro. There's like only 20 of them roll off the ship. It's like, I'm so not afraid of them.
In slow-mo.
Oh yeah, they're coming out of that airplane like it's such a big deal. Not intimidating at all. I want the twins back. What kills me the most is that I know that something in the next 4 episodes I'm going to appreciate. It's just, why did they need to do this episode? Why did they have to do us like this?
To transition.
It's a problem.
I'm telling you,
Because they have to
transition.
underwhelm you before they overwhelm you. That's what it is.
Bingo.
The night is
It's
darkest
transition.
before the dawn.
Exactly. We gotta sink this so low before we go in there and start getting into the juicy parts.
The bar for a filler episode of The Mandalorian is he crashes on an ice planet and almost gets eaten by horrific spiders.
And is saved by Wolfman himself.
I'll take that 3 times in a row over the Vespa gang of teenagers who socially are aware of why they're in a poor situation. I just, it's too much for me. I can't look at these kids. They're terrible. They're not threatening. They just, there's no reason they exist. They're an enigma. For what they say and what they do and who they are. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not into it. And also the fight with Black Chrysanthemum was terrible.
Yep.
Are there any stakes for physical violence in Star Wars anymore? I don't understand. Yeah, like, you know, he literally snapped his back and then he was like in a bathrobe 2 seconds later saying, you know what, despite my back just being snapped, I think the Gamorrean guard can use my back to tank because I'm fine right now. So that is nonsense. They need to like totally figure out how violence works in let's give it a Liam Neeson Taken PG-13 level of violence understanding versus the A-Team from 1984. Okay, that's the progression I'm looking for here in these next few episodes. But they've really shifted the goalposts in terms of the level of reality we're experiencing here. So I don't know. It bothers me. I will try my best to mentally erase this episode from my head.
You guys have been saying that there's 4 more episodes. Are they're only slated for 7 episodes?
Yep.
You think they would have more action in it?
That's really weird. 7 is a weird number for a season, right?
I think it was going to be 6.
Okay.
The episode durations are very arbitrary. One was 58 minutes, one was 34.
Yeah.
It was always meant to be a small series. Like the Obi-Wan show with Ewan McGregor coming out is 6 episodes as well.
Oh, okay. It now makes more sense when you guys in the Facebook group call it the novella of Boba Fett. Now I get it. The other thing, Chris, I think you mentioned in there, you said that the Hutts went back to Nal Hutta? Is that what you said?
We were almost out of this episode.
I don't know if that's what their planet's called anymore in Disney canon, but that's what it used to be called.
Oh, okay. That is weird because that sounds like Calcutta, but it's Nal Hutta.
it is. It's been referenced in the comics. There was a whole
okay.
The comics basically had Shadows of the Empire happening, but it was really like Shadow Crimson Dawn. Like instead of Shadows of the Empire, Crimson Dawn did almost the exact same thing.
Crimson Dawn is Paul Bettany in Solo, right?
Amazing.
Bingo. I do have a moment of Zang for the end of the episode.
Okay, I know Zenger does this. I just wanted to interject while I have you guys because I've never brought it up before. I don't know if Zach's brought it up, but when I ran upstairs before to get my Squid Hat action figure, which I still have,
he fell down.
He's great. He did not. I fell down. Squid Hat did
yes,
not.
Yes, exactly.
I
knew this happened.
The other thing I grabbed is something that Zach sent to me many years ago.
Right.
When he had an idea for an episode of Knights of Vader. This had to be like 2 years ago. It never came to fruition because we never really knew how to handle it and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring it up because I think it's really cool. He
is so excited right now, everybody.
A Star Wars trivia book that Zach has sent me. And Zach had the idea that we would host like a trivia where I'd be the judge and we never really figured out how to do it. But I remember that us talking about this. I'm sure we talked about it, that type of thing, whether or not I was involved. But I just wanted to say I still have it. And maybe if you guys would allow me, let me flip to some random pages. Can I ask you guys some questions? Would that be okay? Real quick.
You know what? I give up on my moment of Zang. I'm down for this.
Okay.
My moment of Zang was just going to be another dig at Dune to just irritate Robert.
Okay, good. So. No more Dune. No more Dune.
Let's move though, because you're going to have to do at least 2 each for us to determine that I'm the best.
I was about to say I've accepted defeat here on this. I know where my ranking is in knowledge on Star Wars of this on this particular podcast. It ranks low.
So the book is separated into episodes. So I believe it's episodes 1 through 6. So it has the prequels and the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to flip to some random pages and we're going to see what we get. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to just ask you guys these questions. I do have multiple choice, but I want to. I don't want to go directly. I want to test your guys' knowledge immediately. So I'm just gonna flip to a random thing. Question. Here we go. 1969. Question 1969. What anti-infantry device did the rebels use in the ground battle on Hoth? This is the weirdest thing I've ever done. And I'm a math teacher.
Okay.
Anti-infantry, huh?
Yes. So what anti-infantry device did the rebels use in the ground battle on Hoth? It for some reason, I think it might be an editing error. Ground is italicized. I don't know if that means anything.
I'm gonna go with the shield generator.
I'd have to say it's gonna have to be that radar dish.
The radar dish. I'm saying shield generator because the italicized.
Joe, when you're saying radar dish, are you referring to the radar laser cannons that the rebels have? Are you referring? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was I forgot the name of it, but it was like the high density.
I just want to interject and say that I won't read the multiple choice answers for you guys, but the multiple choice answers are incredibly specific.
Oh Jesus!
I don't know if it's referring to the AT-ATs as being infantry. So I think the radar laser cannon is a good guess, but I'm just going to go with the snow speeder.
Okay. I like that you guys got some answers locked in. I know the answer. I'm going to read the multiple choice because I think this might be the good ground test or base test for you guys to understand what this book is about. Okay. Question, just once again, what anti-infantry device did the rebels use in the ground battle on Hoth? A. Atgar 1.4 FD P-Tower laser cannon. Option B. Option B. KDY W165 planetary turbo laser.
That's the ion.
How about a T-47 airspeeder?
Choice C. Golan Arms DF9. Choice D. Borstel NK7 ion cannon. That's how specific these answers are.
Wait, there's a difference?
Would you like me to divulge what the book says the answer is? It says it is choice C, Golan Arms DF9.
What the crap is that?
I don't know. I'm more confused.
Chris, show us the toy. Where's the toy?
It wouldn't even be on the toy box. I don't think they got that specific. They would just say radar dish blaster.
Okay, let me choose a different question. I might have gone a little too hard. Chris has muted himself and is actively Googling, it seems, right now.
Being angry,
Chris is angry about this.
Is it Golden or Golan?
I'm going to flip back. I'm going to give this to you right now. Golan, Golan, Golan Arms DF.9 is what they say the answer is. I didn't know I was going to cause this much unrest in the universe.
Oh, it is the white. So that is the white tower. And it does actually say anti-infantry when you look it up, about 4 meters in height. Thank you, Wikipedia.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Dang it. They're just called turrets. They're called goddamn turrets.
Yeah, this is a problem because it's like our tanks. I guess tanks aren't infantry, so I guess it's fair.
Whatever. I was completely wrong with. I was like the shield generator. This is gonna be one of those dumb books where it's gonna have no research.
The shield generator was obviously not correct because that was to defend against an aerial bombardment, which is the whole reason why the tanks had to land. But
I was like, I'm going with this book being written for idiots.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're idiots.
This is serious.
Okay. How about this? I flipped to a different page, and this question, I looked at the answers. This is not.
I want to do a full episode of this now of just us being violently angry,
fun, right? I had this book on my coffee table for a while, and people, like my friends, would come over and they go, "Oh, you're really into Star Wars?" And I was like, "No." Okay. How about this? Question 420. How old was Anakin Skywalker during the battle on Geonosis? This seems a little more reasonable, right? Oh God, the answer. Hold on, I have to find the answers. You guys think I'd have to find the answers because they're not on this page.
19 galactic years.
I'd have to say either 16 or 17.
I'm saying 19.
Because Amidala was a senator. She was older than him.
Zenger's in the ballpark. It's 18 or 19. It's not
they're
hard
in the
enough.
back. They're in the back. Okay, there's an index for these special pages because this is like one of the first questions under Attack of the Clones. Okay, I have the answer. Can I read the multiple choice to you guys? Because I think you've all locked in some answers.
Sure.
21, 19, 20, or 22?
19. I'm sticking with 19.
19. It's got to be 19.
According to the book, the answer is C, 20.
Bullcrap! I'm done with this.
I don't know. I'm not saying I don't think this book is smarter than you guys. You guys might be better than this book. I'm just saying what I got on the page.
I just, maybe little Jake Lloyd's age is never stated in episode 1. I don't know.
No. Thanks to the famous Weird Al parody, he was not, and she was 9. No, wait. He was 9. She was 14. He's probably going to marry her someday.
Yeah. That would make him 19. So I think Weird Al canon is the level we're at.
Weird Al canon outvotes this. Do question 69. And that will be the final one. Okay. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. We did 420. We're doing 69.
We're dying out here. We got to one more.
Okay. Question 69.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay. Hold on. How many times had Queen Amidala met Senator Palpatine before her journey to Coruscant to address the Senate? That's a weird question.
Why did I do a prequel question?
That's got to be from a book called, I think, Cloak of Deception, which is not a fair question.
I also don't think it's a really fair question. I have not looked at the answer yet, but I would like to read you the multiple choice options.
Please, I think it will give us a chance.
A, she had never met him. B, 2 times. C, 3 times. D, 1 time.
I'm going with never.
I think never is a good choice because when they meet on the landing platform, it seems like very formal. So that's if the answer is actually based on the movie, never is probably not a bad guess.
Joe, any input? I think you're the one who hasn't locked in an answer. Say
3 times.
According to the book, it is she had never met him.
Yeah, one right.
So weird. That's so weird.
That is so weird. You have a senator in the Galactic Senate that hasn't even met the Queen once.
Well, she might have only been in office for a few months. She was 14. He lives on Coruscant. Like it's a whole thing.
It's a whole day trip to get.
I want to do one more that's in the vein of the first one.
Please, because me and Chris are tied right now.
Question. I'm trying to flip through and find a really weird one like that first one I found somehow. Oh my God, there's so many questions in this book. There's like 3,000 questions in here.
See, a few holidays ago, Ellie got like a trivia card thing with Star Wars, and there was a lot of like, what exact model of X-Wing was used on this assault on the Star? And I'm like, I don't know. The X-Wing.
Here's one that makes no sense to me, which is what I'm looking for. Question 1088. What covers the landscape of Felucia? Felucia. I have no idea.
It's like ferns and stuff.
I would go with fungi.
Ferns and plants.
Let me look at the answer real quick, and then I'll read you the options. So A, multicolored fungi. B, crystal canyons. C, fluorescent plants. D, oceans and swamps. So Chris, you said fungi, which is one of the choices. I think somebody said plants. I think that was Joe or Zenger said plants.
Yeah. I said ferns, which are a type of plant.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Zenger.
Botanist Justin Zenger here.
According to the book, it is a multicolored fungi.
God dang it, I quit.
Oh, Chris. Yeah.
Those of you who remember the holy video game, The Force Unleashed, there's a sentient race of fungi men on Felucia.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Felucia is. I thought Felucia was something dirty we couldn't talk about on this podcast.
Close enough. All right. Well,
Rob, where can people find more from you?
No, I thought This is great. I'm glad I actually got to bring up this book. I got it. We got tons more questions. Maybe people like this and want to hear me be angry about Star Wars or confused. I'm not angry. I'm confused.
You'll be confused. We'll be angry.
And would you believe that I have a local copy of the same book, Rob? So we could really tag team this situation.
We would
What,
do the
just
double
anger
host?
Zenger to no end? Me? Okay, no, that's it. Me versus Zack for true superiority over this podcast.
And the nice thing about this book is it also predates Disney Star Wars. So we know it can't be too far out there in terms of the sequel trilogy questions.
I have to ask this. I saw this question. I think this is funny. What is the smallest known variety of Tauntaun? What type of question is that?
Teeny Ton.
So the options are the climbing Tauntaun, the scaly Tauntaun, the tiny Taun,
Yeah!
the glacier Tauntaun.
Tiny Ton.
That has to be. I haven't looked at the answer yet. That has to be a misdirect. That one of them's called the tiny Taun.
Oh, no, I'm going with Tiny Ton.
It's the climbing Tauntaun.
God dang it!
This is so stupid.
I'm guessing most of the source material for these sort of questions, especially because we're talking
Wikipedia.
the West End role-playing game, which is essentially Star Wars Dungeons and Dragons, which started in 1993, really did offer off a lot of this absurd, trivial information. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from, where it was, it really makes me appreciate that back then, it was really a different class of nerd. Like, we don't stand a chance by today's standards. Like, it's just...
Oh,
Man, I am jacked into this book like the Matrix now. What was Polis Massa before it became an asteroid belt?
That's planet.
So the options are a planet, a moon, twin moons, or twin planets.
I'm going with twin moons, which doesn't make any sense.
No, Zenger, you're right the first time. It's a planet.
God!
It's remarkable that anyone ever thought so deeply about Polis Massa, which is where Luke and Leia were born, of course, Rob.
I did not know that. I didn't even know who's Luke and Leia. No, I'm kidding.
That's where they were born. But all right, so we might have something here. We might get this going now that when Zack's away, anarchy reigns supreme. That's what we understand here. So Rob, what do you want to say to our audience where they're going to find you when you're not here, which is pretty rare?
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for, me just by chance being included in the Knights of Vader chat that we have going that I mostly ignore. But when Chris sent out this Zoom meeting link, I was like, oh, maybe I should try out Zoom on my Linux machine. And turns out I'm here. But you, of course, can find me on Cinemoddities. Zack and I talk a lot about crazy movies, cinematic oddities, that type of thing. Other than that, you can find me through An Insperiority Complex, who provides the theme music for this podcast that you hear every single week time, whatever this release schedule is. And so I know Zack usually puts the link in the show notes. You can check us out and hear more from us there. I'm really glad that you guys have let me, ramble on and be the normie of the group, the filthy casual. It's been a while since I got to say that, but this is good fun. And let us know in the Knights of Vader Facebook group, which I'm active on, if you want to hear more of me rambling about Star Wars trivia. And I want to put it out there once again. I really hope that we get to rank some lightsaber duels because I have a really great algorithm to do so. And I think that's going to be some fun discussion. But thanks, guys, for having me. This was a good time.
Yeah, thanks for showing up. Joe, parting words?
I'm gritting my teeth trying to wait for the book of Boba Fett. I just can't get it through my head how a person could be so successful as the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy and doesn't know to get some guys on the door, check some ID.
Couldn't agree more. And Zenger, when you're not feeling particularly masochistic as you are tonight, where can we find you?
You can find me on my podcast, ZengThis, talking about nerdy stuff every week. And we will be making a comeback soon with Zing Wars, the rival Star Wars podcast to this one. Yes.
I just want to say that, Zenger, you say that you can listen to your podcast to hear about nerdy stuff. Please be honest with our audience. You can listen to ZengThis to hear Zenger talk about Dune every week, it seems. That's all you want to talk about.
We only have 2 episodes so far. And
I'm on one of them.
Exactly. Exactly. It was a response episode. That was the best part, too.
What a terrible movie.
What a terrible episode.
Nice.
Maybe I'll see Dune someday, but Jason Momoa has turned me off for the time being. If you don't already follow us at KOV Podcast on Instagram, do that. You could also follow me at the Chris Porteous on Instagram. I do some photography over there. We will most likely continue doing Book of Boba Fett recap episodes, depending how many of us are in a morbid state after a chapter 4. We'll see how that goes. Thanks for listening, and
remember Alderaan! Down with the Empire!